I think something that happens when we get to perform, which not just us, but all of our friends and colleagues have been denied during this period, is you bring your music to other people, of course, but you're also bringing it to other spaces. And you literally, you pack all your stuff up in a way that you can carry to other places, and then you unpack it, and you do the same thing, more or less, except the space has totally changed. And where you are, the city where you are, and what the feeling is of a room.
It makes an enormous difference, the space that you're in. And walking in here from the first moment, the light and sort of the history of this building. I
was in this building years ago when it was a library, and a library, of course, is silent. So, I didn't get to walk in here and do that. But so it's a great opportunity to kind of like fill this space with sound. Welcome to Plummer Hall. We're Damon and Naomi.
did the album begin?
Okay.
Well, we think of the album as beginning when Damon fell down the stairs in London.
Yeah, down the stairs. It wasn't so bad. It was more comical. It's like the beginning of a romantic comedy. I fell down the stairs.
And we had a big show that night in London.
But I was fine. And it was very dramatic, and we did cancel a show. And they gave me morphine at the hospital, which I'd never had. It was very rock and roll. The whole thing was very rock and roll.
But it meant that he had to recover in Berlin, which is where we were next. And those days off gave him time to go to a flea market. And he found these amazing German records there.
Yeah, so for a change, I went record shopping.
That was his recovery. I don't know if the hospital said, this is what we prescribe.
Well, what do I find in the flea markets in Berlin? I find all these records from the 70s that I'd never seen at home, and they're all on a label called Sky Records.
We never heard these records before, or even
We never
knew
heard
of them.
these almost ambient, instrumental records. And I bought a whole bunch of them cheap in the flea markets and in the used record stores and brought them home. And
we couldn't stop listening to them. We became obsessed with them.
so we just kept listening to these records and listening to these records. And meanwhile, we were writing new songs for our own next record.
The peacefulness, the equanimity on these records was something we wanted to kind of channel.
So we started playing new tunes together at home and just feeling like we don't want to have them be all angsty and like add to all this turmoil that's going on, emotional turmoil in the world, just sort of have this feeling. And so it sort of became this assignment like, well, what if we made a Sky record?
my door. All the fears you've had before, put them here in my palm. No more cause for alarm. And we were sailing by under a starry sky, watching all our cares float on by. From Viking to Tyree, at double GMT, all this calm could be for you and me. We were sailing by beneath the starry sky, watching all our cares float by.
The pandemic hit, and we kind of froze because suddenly it felt
Yeah.
hard to know what to sing about.
We had put down the bass and the drums in the winter, and then it was like, wow, but what exactly do you write about? Because we had these sense and these feelings and these strange images, but do you write about being in the pandemic? No, that seems completely inappropriate and strange, but you can't ignore it, right? You can't be like, oh, nothing's going on. And it was funny because we talked to a lot of our friends on Zoom, and we're like, hey, what are you doing? Are you writing songs? And so many other musicians we spoke to were like, yeah, I'm writing songs, but, and we're like, how about lyrics? And they're like, I have no idea what to say. And it's just so interesting because what lyrics are is, I mean, they are like processing things, like, you know, it's not really poetry, and it's not really dreams, and for us, it's definitely something it's something you've experienced, or something that maybe you can't even say in some other way.
Finally, something clicked, and I don't know that we understand it particularly yet, but that felt right. And Naomi really found the way, and as with a lot of things, I watched her find the way, and then I thought, oh yeah, that's the way.
I know. I think it was as I ended up writing one song really for a friend, and I think that gesture, it just came out like it was just instinctive, and it was no longer a decision like, I'm going to write lyrics about this thing, I'm not going to write lyrics about this thing. It just was like instinct or generosity or wanting to be generous. And I think that kind of let me, and once I'd done one, it was like, oh, it is possible. Like, we can still continue even in this very strange moment we're in to make things. It's not, it's not impossible.
We have a very long-standing relationship, wonderful relationship with our friend Michio Kurihara in Japan. And Kuri has played on all our records since the turn of this century. And we hadn't been able to be with him and play with him for quite some time. He hadn't been able to leave Japan for family reasons. So we're making these new songs at home, but wishing that we could have Kuri play with us. And then we got an invitation to Japan, which meant we could go over and he wouldn't have to leave. We could play together over there. So we put together this group of new songs for this album.
So this was the summer of 2019. We started assembling our Sky Records influenced songs, and with the plan that we were going to tour in Japan in the fall and record with Kurihara.
So we went into the studio with him in Tokyo, and he wanted to know what each song was meant to feel like. And Naomi started describing to him in imagistic terms. She drew pictures for him, she told him images, and we had a very clear sense of what each song should
I tried to
feel
give him
like.
sort of abstract imagery. So I would say like, oh, this one is like smoke in the fields, or, you know, the train sound at night, or, you know, the dew in the morning, it's sparkling. And Kurihara would say to me, well, is it like warm dew or is it cold dew? And I'd be like, oh, it's like cold dew. And he's like, oh, I see.
And,
So
yeah.
it was that. And so it's sort of
Very
this like
precise.
poetic, but very precise. But I think you know, it let him kind of feel like he was being very specific about those, because he's very specific about his guitar sounds. And it was kind of fun. Like I went off the rails a bit, but you know.
We learned a great Japanese word, which is muku muku, which is the sound of things growing. You know, because at one point Naomi was like, well, it's actually the first shoots coming up in spring. And Kuri was like, oh, muku muku.
We're not here with Kurihara, unfortunately, who is still in Tokyo, but we have always done arrangements of our songs for a duo show.
Yeah, that's been a long-standing way that we work. So there's a way that we can express the song as a duo that is different because the arrangement is much more spare, it's much more focused on the lyrics, focused on those basic elements that we put together at the very beginning. There's something that happens when we just have to work with just our two voices.
Hawk turning softly in the wheel of the sky. Dust clouds are rising from the heavy burden of the sights that she's seen. Cadillac driving, asleep at the wheel. Dust clouds are rising over what is real. Keen on the horizon, 1,000 years down. Cloud on the mountains, like a fog in our eyes. Foggy sound of waves come crashing down. It's real, you know. It's a place we can go. There's a beach where we can go down beneath the stars. A rendezvous with you is all that matters. No one has to know. That's where we can go. Underneath the stones.
It definitely always makes a difference to play songs in front of an audience. What was it that you what was it that you saw?
Oh, Branford Marsalis said, I didn't see it, it was on social media, but he said, if you're gonna play your first show after a year and a half, don't record it, and most definitely don't film it.